BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Chris Wray from the Opinionated Gamers, and we're talking about some of the spicy hot games that we've played recently. And I didn't realize he's already into Pandemic Legacy Season 0. You've played all 3, right, Chris?
I've played all 3.
All right.
I have only played through March of Season 0.
Okay.
And I will not spoil anything today. So
yeah, Chat Krewe, this is a no spoiler episode from Chris. But can you give? There's some things that you can tell just from the back of the box, right?
Yeah.
And and from some of the pictures. So tell us what's the conceit of Pandemic Legacy Season 0?
So the idea is, so it's a prequel, and so it takes place before the virus hits, and it's basically a spy-themed game. You have sort of the Soviets on one side, and then the rest of the world on the other side, the West. And what's so cool about this game, and fair disclosure, I was a playtester for it.
Okay.
What's so cool about this game is it's almost a pick up and deliver game, because in normal Pandemic, what you're doing is you're trading in your cards to cure a virus. Here you're trading in your cards to build a team, which then that team goes around the board, and if you get it into certain cities, you accomplish certain objectives. So this is a fresh twist on the series. It still feels like Pandemic. It still can go very south very quickly, just like a real pandemic, as we're all learning.
Right.
But it is, I think, a refreshing take on the series. Here's how I would describe each of the 3 games, if I can just do that.
Yeah.
Season 1 felt like base Pandemic to me, with some cool layers added on.
And some twists.
Yeah, some cool twists. And so Season 2 felt like it had like this really cool exploration side. Like, right, you have this map of the world, you get these stickers, you fill out your map as you go. And I thought that exploration was extremely cool. And Season 2 is my favorite of the 3 so far.
Okay.
Season 0 is, I think it's probably the most story-driven of the 3. At least that's how it feels to me. It feels also mechanically the most different from the other ones. And so it is pretty fresh and refreshing. The cool thing is, what I would tell people is you don't have to play them in order. I have friends I played Season 2 with who hadn't played Season 1. I'm playing Season 0 now, but I don't think it relates to the other 2 at all. So I think you should just pick which of the 3 you want to try if you're unfamiliar with Pandemic Legacy, and just play it. You don't have to play them in order. And I suppose if I were to recommend an order, I would actually go Season 1, 2, and 0, which is the order that came out. But really, I don't even think that's that great of an idea.
Out of the 3 descriptions, I've only played the first one. What's that?
You've got the passport up. This is super cool. You actually have like different aliases in the game. So you come with like these like stickers, and you put like disguises on them, and you fill out your passport, and then you can lose an alias. So it's a spy themed game, so you can be exposed and lose that alias, which is devastating if your cover is blown. But that's all game 1 type of stuff.
All right, she wants to know. Beth says, what did you name your characters?
I actually don't remember. That's embarrassing, but I don't remember.
You're still in the middle of the game. You're in March.
I know, but I don't even remember what like costumes I put on them.
Can I tell you something? Out of the 3, so I've only played Pandemic Season 1, and we played halfway through, and then unfortunately we didn't finish. I never did play Season 2. Season 0 is the one that, from an aesthetic standpoint and also from the way you described it, this looks to be like the one that I would enjoy the most. I like this whole building of the team thing. And as for the art, it looks like Pandemic, but a totally different version,
Yeah, the game it looks like most to me is Twilight Struggle, which is because it has that sort of like Cold War feel at times.
I could see that.
They do a pretty good job on the production value. I will say, that's right. We can't pull my cover. The names are on a need to know basis.
Yeah, that's right.
I will say this one has lower ratings on Board Game Geek, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I certainly don't feel that it's, mechanically any inferior to the other ones. In fact, I think I prefer it to Season 1. So
It might be just because I like that whole get well smart, spy, James Bond. I just like that, that art motif, and that's what I'm getting from this. I love the look of the cards. I mean, they really do seem to stand out. So, man, you're selling me on this thing, even though you're not trying to. It feels like the one I need to play. Season 0.
I haven't written my top 10 for the year, but this will make it. I mean, there's just no way this doesn't make it.
There's Spencer from Lighten Up Initiative. Before we got on the show, Chris, I was watching his live play with Laura of the ruins, the Lost Ruins of Arnak. I don't know if you've seen that from CGE.
That's one. I cannot wait for my copy to arrive.
So jealous he got to play that one. That's one. But yeah, back to Pandemic Season 0. I skipped Season 2. It didn't look like, my wife was really that interested in playing it. This is the one I might be able to get her to play because she likes that theme. And you know what the problem with Pandemic Season 1, after we played it, okay, so we got through May, but it took us like 9 games to do that, right? And she looked at me and she said, I'm not playing 24 games of Pandemic. I'm just not doing it, And I understand that. I mean, she's a gamer. She loves games, but she doesn't want to play the same game over and over, where I'll play Concordia. I have some games I played 30, 40, 50 times. I know you're the same way. So, yeah.
I've always felt like this is fascinating to me about Pandemic Legacy. Some people complain that it's not a good value because you only get 24 games out of it. I've never gotten to the end of a Pandemic Legacy campaign and felt like I didn't get my value out of that game. That might happen if I beat them all. Like if I just did 12 wins, but I don't think that's going to happen in Pandemic. Right. I lost 2 games already in this season. I lost one of them in 8 minutes. So
8 minutes?
Yeah, we lost the game in 8 minutes.
Wow.
We played quickly, so the game progresses more quickly with my group than a lot of others. But we had one game that just went very south very fast.
Wow. Now I've seen that in Pandemic. I've seen it go really south. Yeah.
Sometimes you're not even 2 rounds around the table, and all of a sudden everything's a mess.
Yeah, we had We had one game that went really bad where the outbreaks were just right next to each other, and they just multiplied, and all of a sudden, wow, game's over. So then you just fired it up and played again. So that is what it is, and that is Pandemic Season 0, Pandemic Legacy Season 0.